Hey everybody, this is Perch. A bunch of you wrote in and asked for me to comment on this, I don't know, op that went on. Is that what we would call this? I'm not quite sure. But basically, this doesn't really count as a viewer question. But again, several of you wrote in asking about this. And what better way to close out the 2021, where it's New Year's Eve. If I think about this right and put this out right, then good, everything will work. New Year's Eve, last video of the year, and what better way to talk about them reflecting back on what a waste of time a lot of things have been. So this op that people asked me to talk about was Mark Brooks, who's a cover artist, basically went to Twitter and then got in a argument, and it was unclear if he was just having a day where he wanted to have a fight, because he does post things like, I'll good night Twitter, I'll probably kill you in the morning, which is movie reference, but he posts things that are a little weird. Fine. So you're never really quite sure if he's running a plan or if this is some kind of joke or what. But anyway, he gets in an argument. I want to say with John Malin, but maybe not. I'm not sure. But a bunch of people then come in and they start fighting. And then Brooks kind of declares a victory. I exposed the Nazis and the racists. And that was his plan all along, was to get these people to come out. And I think that whole thread exemplifies where comics are in 2021 very, very clearly on all fronts. Because no part of that thread was about comics. That was mysteriously absent from all the arguing, which is how I think Twitter really is anymore. I'm not. I'll make this promise to you right now. We're not going to talk about Twitter very much. Conversations that come up on Twitter, sure. But in 2022, New Year's resolution, I know there's like 20 more videos that are somewhere in the queue somewhere, and maybe a couple of them comment, but you're going to see an end to just drama for drama's sake. There's no point to it. But it is worth highlighting that in 2021, the comics industry seemed very consumed with itself on social media, and at the expense of the actual products getting produced, the comics. And again, on all front, there's a lot of good crowdfunding books that came out. There's a lot of good indie books that came out from indie creators, a lot of people using various channels, but very little conversation about those. The majority themes that came up were who's a Nazi, are NFTs mark of the devil, will there, let's support or not support a comics union that at the end of the day had 12 people in it, then 7 people in it, then just kind of nobody. You can kind of go down the line of all the big themes that came up on social media, and none of them were about comics. Even when they started with comics, they quickly became not about comics. Even stuff like the X fandom likes to portray themselves as very connected to those comics, but their loudest tweet, and I'm looking at kind of the trending topics in comics for 2021 on Twitter, their loudest conversation was about how Leah Williams was a bigot monster for how X Factor ended. Seriously. Twitter, at least, is telling me that had more engagement than Hickman leaving. What does that tell you? Back to Mark Brooks for a second. The crazy part about that thread is that it went on and on and on. And what's funny is I saw some other videos, some people going, oh, look at this guy accusing people of being racist who aren't racist. But then one of the people, and this is always, by the way, the trap, one of the people who was responding to him just started talking about how the Jews were the problem in everything, in media. And it's like, you're not helping your case here. If your argument is Mark Brooks is crazy and he's calling people things that aren't true, and then, one of the louder people in the thread is making a bunch of anti-Semitic, there was some definite white supremacy in that thread. No, not everybody, not even close to everybody. Plenty of people were just throwing mud, to have fun. But if you find, I guess this is my way of living, and you're welcome to do whatever you want. But if you find yourself at a party and there's 20 of you there, and then two people at the party are crazy racist assholes. Um, Even if all the other 18 agree those two people are crazy racist assholes, you kind of at some point have to show them the door or go find a new party, because otherwise, the thing that people are going to remember about the party are those two people, not the other 18. Is that fair? No, but that's how it goes. That is, sorry, that's just how it goes, and unfortunately, that's the stain that exists on comics right now. Is that a couple people have ruined things or are actively ruining things for the majority, whether they be creators, whether they be fans, whether they be customers, whether they be retailers, whatever it happens to be. In retailer communities, there's a couple loudmouth jackasses out there. They know, you know who you are, and you have, those people are the people who bitch whenever DC tries to do something with digital or move to a new day or try new shipping, and the rest of us all get drug along behind you as being troglodyte, retailers who can't adapt to new technology, won't ever change. When the reality is, most of us would be happy to change. We want modernization, we want new things, but it's that tiny, insignificant amount of people that are the dicks. And it doesn't help, by the way, for people to go, well, I'm not one, so I refuse to be judged by these others. I mean, that may make you feel better, might help you sleep at night, but it doesn't change the fact that these people are out there still kind of screwing it up for everyone else. I've done shows before where I comment on this, and sure enough, some jackass will do a video or do a stream or something like, Perch is calling us all Nazis. Okay, so that's not what I'm saying. And two, at the same time, saying, I've never met one, I've never seen one, is bullshit. Everybody's seen it. If you looked at that Mark Brooks thread, you saw it. Now, to Mark Brooks, I guess I have one question. If this was an op, and I don't believe it was, I think this is just somebody out there deciding to throw, he's bored, and so he's just picking a fight with somebody, and, people come out of the woodwork right now whenever on social media when you pick a fight with anyone, which is, again, very much, a portrait of 2021 and where the comic industry is at. But let's assume for the moment it was an op, that this was a carefully planned thing that you were doing to draw out the races. Cool. Now what? Seriously, now what? And I have this question because there are people who show up. There was this post by some Star Wars fan saying, "Oh, this female character that's coming up in Book of Boba Fett's going to make all the man bros really mad, and I'm here for it." But why? Why are you here for that? If you get all of these awful people to come out of the woodwork, then what? What is step 2 look like? Are you going to call the Twitter police? Are you going to what is the plan? How does this make comics better to draw these people out into the open? Now everyone knows. Okay, cool. Now we all know that there's some assholes out there. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I know. I'm well aware of this fact. Several of these people have have done shows calling me out. Those people are assholes. What are you gonna do? I legitimately am thinking back to the start of the year. So it's been 1 year, and this is naive. If people have called me naive, there are definitely cases where it's. I would argue it's not being naive. It's I hope for something better. I expect the crap that we get, but I hope for something better. So I was having this conversation with someone, and they were saying, "Oh, it's great when these Nazis get exposed." And I said, "But what do you do? What happens after they're exposed? Like what? Okay, is somebody calling the Human Rights Commission to do what are you doing? What do you even do? I don't even know what question to ask. What do you do once you've exposed these people? I agree, these people are awful. When true bad people are bad. But then what? It's like, no, you don't understand. It was great. I posted something, and then all these racists came in. And then you know what happened? Rinfamous retweeted one of these things and said, "Yep, look at here are the Nazis right here," with a little finger pointing down emoji, and it got like 400 likes. And I'm like, what? What does that even mean? What have we done? It's 2021. We're talking about Rinfamous. That name was barely relevant back in what, 2018. Who cares? If we're going to there's no value in exposing bad people and bad things if we don't do something about it. Nothing. It doesn't do an ounce of good. If you just expose and then everybody continues on with their life, so what? You've accomplished nothing. Especially when it's a social media platform where people are using fake names and it's not even real. None of this is real. You've done nothing. I think Mark Brooks is a good artist. I like his stuff. I would like to see more of his stuff. I think he puts out quality work, and his covers generally sell. If you're a retailer, you like Mark Brooks doing covers. It helps sell. What doesn't sell is ops to expose the Nazis. So to answer the questions that came in, useless is my answer. All of it's useless, completely and absolutely useless. Were there some awful people in that thread? You bet. Are those great? Now what? I mean, cool. Happy New Year. Okay, no more of this next year. Happy New Year, everybody, and I hope your 2022 is better than your 2021. Thanks for listening. Really, thanks for listening.